Hello everyone, welcome back to the second podcast, and just so all you guys are aware, the topics today are going to be quite Scottish football related, and it's not just about specific teams and things like that. So anyway, carrying on. Basically, we're also got a special guest coming on. It should be Monday, so hopefully he is ready to come on. And it depends on obviously what time we film the podcast, but yeah, episode 2, and today we're going to be talking about if VAR should be introduced into the Scottish Football League. And I feel really strongly about this point because I think it ruins football. But Logan, I'll let you say your point first if you want.
Yeah, well, I don't think VAR is a problem, honestly, because VAR can't be a problem. Yeah, it's just a camera at the end of the day. VAR doesn't lie; it just shows you what happens. I think the problem is the rules that they actually implement when they use VAR, when they look at what's on the cameras. And I think the main thing they have, I know in England anyway, because I watch a lot of English football, obviously, and that's where they're using it most. The thing that annoys me is they have them little monitors at the side of the pitch for the referee to go over and look, and they never use it. So they're not actually using it properly. And the people who made VAR as well have said that the Premier League is not using VAR properly, because the whole point of VAR is to help if there's a clear or obvious mistake, because otherwise if you're just going to use it all the time, you might as well not have referees anymore, because there's no point, you know what I mean? But there's no need to have a referee if you're going to use a computer all the time. So the whole point is if there's clear or obvious error. So when you're looking at an offside call or something like that, and you have to get all those little dots and dashes and lines out to check if it's offside or not, and it's that close, that's not clear and obvious, is it? Because if it was that close, you need to check it. It's not clear and obvious. Well, I think the VAR is not the problem, because it's just a camera at the end of the day. But I think it's the rules that's the problem. That's my point of view, anyway.
See, this is where I have a bit of a different point of view towards it, because I don't watch, because obviously you support Rangers and Aston Villa, and but for me, I don't watch English football. I have watched English football, obviously when the big games come along, they're on TV, and if I'm lying in bed, I'll be like, alright, I'll stick that on. However, at the end of the day, I don't agree with VAR at all. At the end of the day, we have refs for a reason, we have linos for a reason, we have a fourth official for a reason. Do you know what I mean? We have so many officials, and what I don't understand is I think we should take a book off rugby. Now rugby, what happens if there's something, so say for example how Rangers fans were saying obviously that VAR should be introduced mainly because of the cup final result, obviously when Julian scored the arguably offside volley. But I think it was one of them ones where a lot of people, that was when Scottish football came to the kind of, how do I say it, realization that we might need it. And thinking, alright, that's it, we need to get VAR into Scottish football. And even some Celtic fans are saying it, because in my honest opinion, I think Celtic and Rangers fans, Rangers fans always think the refs are for Celtic fans always think the refs are for Rangers. In my honest opinion, I think I don't have any green goggles on. Maybe sometimes I do, but I don't have them green goggles. Whereas my dad, for instance, obviously you guys don't know my dad, but for anyone that does, my dad has very bad green goggles, and he'll go off his nut at the ref. And I feel like that is where VAR could come in handy, because I feel like it would put an end to the whole blaming the refs. Do you know what I mean? And I think it would make the game it's just, I don't know, obviously VAR was used in Scotland for the first time in the European matches. Celtic got a penalty from it. Rangers never really got it used, did they? Rangers never had to get it used. I didn't watch that game. It was against Braga, I'm pretty sure. But obviously when we played Copenhagen, Odsonne Edouard's penalty was taken down to VAR, and I think it was good because it generally was a penalty. Do you know what I'm saying? It was it was definitely a penalty, but however the refs just didn't see it as good. And I do think that way of the whole thing of it, but like you said, the rules is a bit so if you're going to use it, I think they should only use it every now and then. So you know what I mean? So if it's a big goal, or a big I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's a bit. I'm iffy on the whole situation with it because I just don't agree that VAR should be introduced, and I'm not too sure about it. In my opinion, I'm happy with kind of either.
See,
But
I'd
then
say I'm the opposite. 'Cause I'd say you either use it all the time or you never use it at all, or at least get a better system for it. Because I think they can't just pick and choose when they use it. Because you know what I mean. It's like I know it sounds stupid, like a stupid way to compare it, but I don't really watch cricket. But I've seen them do it in cricket, where like you get so many times where you're allowed to contest something in like one game. So if you think something wasn't right, you can ask the referee to go and check the thing, and if you ask him, then he has to check it. Whereas obviously, like with VAR.
I think the big problem is that you're watching cricket.
No, I don't watch cricket, but like my dad watches it, and I see it in the background and that sometimes. But it's just like I know it's a pooey sport, but still, it's just an example. But that's what I mean. If they ask the ref to check something, then he has to check it. That's the point. But that, even if it's wrong, they can check it again. But if a player goes up to a referee in football and says, "Oh, that's a foul," go check the VAR. He doesn't have to check it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really big discussion between a lot of sports because, again, like I was saying with rugby have it so they just have someone on the mic and the ref doesn't have to go anywhere. The ref just sits there and they tell him on the mic, all right, it is I don't know, it's a try, I think. Is that what they call it? So basically, you know what I mean? Like, they'll say things like that, but they'll never keep... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they'll never keep it... Wait, just a touchdown. But it took me a while there. I don't watch rugby and everything, so I literally ain't got a clue about all of this. But yeah, and I think I think it's one of them ones where it can go for good, but then the point is, like I was saying, I feel like it would remove how Scottish fans always blame the refs, like, you know, because Hamilton Accies do it to Motherwell do it to Hamilton Accies, you know, like, it happens to every team. All fans always say it. And the point is, even though I was saying that, look at England. Like, everyone takes the mick out of Liverpool, saying that they're Liverpool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, spelt live VAR pool. You know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, that would definitely come into Scottish football. They'd be calling us like, you know, Celtic are. I don't know. I'm not the best at making the puns up, but they'll be called. You know what I mean? Like range VAR or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it just. And I just feel like at the very end of the day, like, even though it can't be wrong, there will be a time, if it did come into Scottish football, that it would be wrong. And, like, it'll be very, very tough for the ref to make the decision. And if that happened, the set of fans that said, so Celtic, a lot of Celtic fans said they didn't want it. And Rangers fans were the main ones who wanted it after the cup final. And it was Celtic Rangers debating about that. And I think that was when Celtic fans would go absolutely mental, saying to Rangers fans, we told you we don't want it in Scottish football. We warned you that it wouldn't, like, you know, it wouldn't go down well, and you're the ones that have argued your way into getting it. And in my opinion, I think keep it in Europe. If people want to use it in Europe, fair enough. Because in my honest opinion, I generally believe Celtic have been, in what I've seen anyway. I don't really watch other teams in Europe. But I think I've seen Celtic be literally cheated out of Europe. Not cheated, but wrongly decisioned in Europe, which has led us to leaving Europe. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. And
when VAR wasn't being used.
Yeah, when VAR wasn't being used. So, like, for example, against I think it was Cluj. Even though you can say, oh, they went and scored another one after that and everything. Fair enough. However, this goal that they scored was offside, and they had the away goal, so that made, like, same with like Copenhagen. I'm not saying Copenhagen cheated. Copenhagen's goals were perfectly fine. However, with Cluj, it was offside. I'm pretty sure. I think it was Cluj anyway, and they scored getting the away goal, which obviously means Celtic have to score 3 goals to go on to win. Yeah. Which is one of them ones that, like, you know what I mean, with like 5 minutes left to happen, of the game to play, that's never gonna happen. And then obviously they went and scored another one. So I just think if that didn't happen and there was VAR and they disallowed that goal, then I reckon that would have kept Celtic in Europe for that game. And obviously, again, I don't know, there's obviously many other teams in that have used that haven't used VAR and obviously been cheated out or like wrongly accused of whatever they've like said. and I just think it'd be a lot better with it. But the SFA need to make sure they need to make sure their refs get it perfect every single time, because if they don't, there's going to be a big eruption in the Scottish Football League. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a kind. How do I say? I'm agreeing to disagree, but then I'm disagreeing to agree. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense.
No.
But yeah,
No.
do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Like what's it? If they put a good system in, I've heard people. I think it was Gary Lineker that said, actually, I don't know whether I agree with it or not because I haven't really thought about it, but he said something like, give in every game VAR's there, and it basically it's watching the whole game, but it doesn't always get involved. And then every like manager or whatever, or like the people in like the dugout who like the manager and like the coaching staff for that team have like so many calls per game. So say they've got like 3 or 5, whatever it is, and then they can use them up and ask people to check VAR. So like if they think that a decision's gone the wrong way, they can be like, right, can you check that? And it takes one off, and then they've only got so many.
Yeah,
that's because I think an idea like that could work.
So that's a really good idea, to be fair.
But then you think that then you've got the problem of like maybe they've used up all their things, and then there's a proper obvious foul that happens later, and everybody can see that it's a foul, but they don't have any left to go and check that, and it obviously brings that. But then I think I've had it before when I've been at a game where VAR is being used, and I'd say the main problem with it is for the fans, because when you're watching it on the telly, it's really obvious, really clear what's going on. They have all like the animations and stuff that tells you what's happening, and you can see the replay and stuff. But when you're at a football game and they're using it, they don't show you the replay because they think it will cause trouble or whatever. Because I don't know, but that's just what they say. They don't show you the replay, but all the fans are in the dark. They don't know what's happening. They're celebrating a goal, or whatever, and the goal might not count. Or I don't know. It's just things. It's just crazy when you're there and you experience it. You don't have a clue what's going on. I just think it's bad. It just kills the atmosphere. It's not a good look on football. Full stop.
Well, I totally agree with that, because I think, however, I've just fact checked it as well just to see how many times it has actually been wrongly used, and it says here officials admit that there have been 4 occasions where VAR has been overturned on a correct field decision by a referee, making it ultimately incorrect, which means that it has gone wrong, which means that in the future it's only going to get more wrong, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? There will be more there will be more wrongly done ones. I'm trying to see, because most of the headlines is Premier League is being ruined because of VAR. Like, literally, that is the headlines on everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no one likes it.
And that's what
people don't just not like it for no reason.
Yeah, I was saying, because that's what I'd like to hear as well. Like, a lot of English fans, like, we will have an English fan come on at one point. Like, I'm talking like, so I know you support Aston Villa and that, but like, I want to hear a proper so I'm talking Spurs, as they're the one that I know a lot of Spurs fans and that, and they're the ones that always seem to go like kick off and say about how like VAR like always does them really bad. You know what I mean, in the Prem. And I'd love to see. I'd love to hear someone else's opinion on that. So if you're a supporter of a Premier League team and you really despise VAR, then go follow us on Twitter. You can also ask us some questions on there, and we'll answer them, or you can come on for an episode. But yeah, and they're saying and one thing as well, this is my other point I was going to make. So say, for instance, it's Hamilton Accies v Motherwell, or actually, no, we'll switch it up because I keep on giving that as an example. Say it's Kilmarnock v Livingston, for example, yeah. Kilmarnock, say it's a cup final, or maybe not a cup final, maybe it's just a game. Kilmarnock score a goal. Kilmarnock fans celebrate, right? Don't know how many Kilmarnock fans there is, but carrying on. But say they celebrate, they scored the goal, but then VAR has to be taken into obviously consideration. What I think annoys me is how they literally stop the game when fans are celebrating. Then they literally go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go do VAR now," and like all the fans literally have to sit there for like 5 minutes. It takes literally so long for obviously all the replays and that, so the ref gets every angle, and until basically they're like, alright, yeah, it's a goal or whatever. And I think that's just so long to wait, whereas they could literally have if they just had loads of people on a mic and just say, so like it's saying to the ref, like as soon as there's a bad tackle, just like press a, you know, like I don't know, like press a button. Is that what they do? And just be like, all right, listen, foul in the box, it's a penalty. And then on the screen, whatever, if it just says, all right, VAR has been used, and the ref just pauses the game and just says, all right, VAR has been used, it's a penalty. And then even on the screen, if they re-show the tackle, no, the foul. And I think that will work a lot better with it, because one thing I think happens a lot is, I'll hear you when it happens, when there's a penalty given, and fans are always booing and everything, and they never put a replay on there, and I feel like it would make fans just stop abusing VAR and the ref if the ref just put it on the screen and like in the stadium and said, all right, there you go, there's a tackle. It, like, you know, you can't argue with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're seeing it there. It is literally. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them ones that I just think is really how do I say it? It's 50-50 to be fair, and a lot of people say, obviously there has been a lot of bad decisions without VAR.
Yeah.
Again, one of them being the Julian goal, and in my honest opinion, I'm a Celtic fan. It was offside, right? I'm just gonna say that now. It was offside. Am I complaining? No, I'm not. However, if that was the other way around and it was Rangers, or you know, if Hearts got to the final, if it was Motherwell, Aberdeen, anyone like that, I would have been going off my nut. I would have been going absolutely mental, and so would the rest of Celtic fans. And it's one of them ones that we'd be calling for VAR, but it's just that obviously Celtic fans are the ones who won the game, so we're the ones saying that we don't want VAR. It could literally go any way, do you know what I'm saying? And I feel it's just one of them ones that you'll never get round to people, because especially the older people, younger ones are, and like, this is not to all older people, by the way, a lot of the elders don't like change, right?
Exactly,
younger people will get brought up with VAR, so I'm getting brought up with VAR, to be fair, like not like near the end of my childhood, however I'm still getting brought up with it technically, do you know what I mean? So like, it's one of them ones when you can look at it and be like, alright, so this, you know, that's alright, however the older people will be like, alright, listen, we don't want that, do you know what I mean? Football's football, stop bringing more rules into it, you're gonna ruin it. That's the way they look at it. And I think it's quite sad thinking that there will never be any more advanced rules in football, because obviously it's one of the biggest, well, I think it is the biggest sport, I'm not too sure if it is or not, but it's one of the biggest sports, we'll just say that for now, in the world. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of them ones you think it's sad that we're not ever going to probably get the most change, because at the point that we'll guarantee when we get older, say if VAR lasts to when we're old, and say they want to bring in another rule, let's call it WFK, for instance, and say if it was to check if a player has committed, like, you know, if, I don't know, like basically just make up something, yeah, we probably wouldn't want that, do you know what I mean? We'd be like, oh, they're ruining the game.
Yeah, because we've got used to VAR by then.
Do you know what I mean? Because that'll be the VAR to us. However, it'll be the VAR to the older generation, and it's just going to keep on happening. But the point is, like, obviously, again, a lot of people are up for change, but a lot aren't. And I just think it's quite a shame with how much it can get, you know, kind of slandered. But, you know, sorry, got interrupted because, you know, apparently that's always what happens. Can you hear me?
I was saying, I think, like, yeah, I can hear you now. I said, did your mum shout you or something?
Nah, it's my brother.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like the main problem is, like, the main thing you got to think about is the main problem from it. What happens to referees and linesmen now? Because their job, they're practically like null and void now. We don't need them; they're irrelevant. If VAR is going to be used all the time, there's no need.
Yeah, that is. Well, no, because they're still in the moment. So when the ball is played, like, the decisions the ref still makes, like, every now and then when there's a foul, but it's not in a critical position. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are needed, because there's not every single time they have, like, the referee or anything runs over to VAR and goes, like, well, VAR check it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, but if VAR's always looking, isn't it? VAR looks at every tackle, and then if it's a clear and obvious error, then it changes it. So if every decision the referee makes, if every time he gets it wrong, it gets changed anyway, what is the point in it being there?
Yeah,
obviously, I'm not saying I agree with it. I think we should have referees. I think they should be there. But I don't get how you can be for VAR, and then without thinking that can have a knock-on effect on their referees and the linesmen, because it will
I get
literally
that.
make them irrelevant. There will be no need for them at some point.
Yeah.
Depending how much you end up using VAR and how dependent we get on it, depends whether we'll need them or not. But the game I think of, the game my head goes back to, is the Old Firm in 2011 when we beat you 4-2, and Kyle Lafferty scored, but he scored a perfectly good goal that was disallowed for offside, and he'd been being caught offside all game. But he scored a perfectly good goal, and then it got disallowed for offside, and then later on he scored a goal and he was offside, and that got given. So it's like, it doesn't really matter, because either way it was ruled out, because one goal should have counted, one goal didn't, and that's how it ended up. But they were the wrong way around. And with VAR, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Well, as on last kind of, before we move on to the next subject, so I'm going to say I don't think VAR should be announced, because I just think it's more rules to the game, and I think it just kind of makes it a bit more, even though it might make it more intense, I think it's not a good intense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So then what would you say then, that I need a drink as well, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
I would say I'm not the biggest fan as it stands right now, but if it can make some sort of system like what we're on about, if a certain team gets so many like call-outs, whatever, and they sort it out and get a good system, I think it could work.
Yeah.
But I'd say overall, I'd say no.
Yeah. Alright. So there you go, guys. We've make sure you put in the comments as well what you believe. We want to get your guys' opinions, and also again, go to Twitter and ask us any question, or like say us any points or anything, and ask us what we think about it. We will answer. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna get on to the next topic, and we're just gonna have a quick little drink break, obviously for the storage as well, like I said in the last one. So carrying on. Right, guys, we are back, and basically the next topic is, should the Scottish Championship be promoted more? And before I do actually get into like what this is, even though we're meant to be just a Scottish football Premier League, we mean all Scottish football. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're like not just the main league, we're also going to be the lower leagues as well, just so you guys are aware. And we won't do it obviously constantly, because there's not really much to talk about the Scottish Championship, but just so you guys are aware on what we're going to be, kind of going for. Just for in future, you guys are all aware. But yeah, should the Scottish Championship be promoted more? And by this we mean, should they be put in games like FIFA? Should they have money? I wouldn't say money, but should they have more money than they do? Should they be like, because if I'm honest, I don't know any Scottish Premiership teams. Should they be put in like, I don't know. I don't really like. It's quite a difficult one, because I don't really know much on the Scottish Championship, but they do have some decent players in there. And if you look at, there's like, what do you think first of all, Logan? Like, what do you think?
Well, you look at like, I know it's not just about FIFA, but obviously FIFA's a main example because a lot of people play it. It's a mainstream game, and you do make a lot of money. It doesn't seem that way, but you do make a lot of money off it because the amount of people that buy it. You do, like. It sounds stupid, but say you're just like a random kid and you support like Wraith Rovers or something. They're not in the game, so you can't play as them. But say you're playing Ultimate Team or something and you buy the Wraith Rovers kit and you play against someone from like America or something like that, just in a random game. Say like you're playing Foot Champs or like, I don't know, you're playing anything, and they see that kit. It's publicity.
Carried on, so if I let you carry on, but like I was just saying, there are a lot of players
did you hear any of what I said?
No, you cut out.
What bit?
I heard you when you were ready to say publicity, and then you cut out.
Oh.
And then but yeah, like I was just saying though, like the Scottish Championship have a lot of decent players, so like Lawrence Shankland being one of the main ones. That is even people are getting, like, I hear their name a lot up in Scotland, and that obviously being one of the players that Celtic and Rangers are looking to sign. And also there are some pretty good players that are going down to play, so Kenny Miller being one of them. Kenny Miller obviously playing for Partick Thistle. Do you know what I mean? So you think, like, we have Kenny Miller, who obviously literally is playing top league football one year for Rangers down to bottom flight. Do you know what I mean? And I think it has a lot of potential. And I think it's very sad because you look at the games and that, they don't even have names on the back of their shirts. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only ones that will have names on the back of their shirts next season will be probably Partick Thistle. I don't even know if Partick Thistle will. Obviously, Hearts, I'd assume. But it is sad. And also, you have a lot of, so like Alan Forrest, obviously brother of James Forrest, who plays for Ayr United, which is pretty, no, you have some pretty good players. And you have Jack Hamilton as well, who is on loan, I'm pretty sure. And he plays for Livingston, if I'm correct. But I think there's a lot of talent in the league, and there is a lot of slander against them, and it just gets me why, because like people look at the lower English leagues as if they're gods. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, as if they're god like tier leagues, and you think they're not. And at the end of the day, like, you could put League 2 teams in England up against League 2, like League 2's the Championship teams up in Scotland. Probably Championship would win, and then if you go to League 1, then I'll still say Championship would win. Up to the Premier, like the English Championship, is when I'd say obviously they would get smashed.
Yeah, definitely.
In Marna's opinion. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, why do they promote the two bottom leagues in football? So obviously, for instance, FIFA. Yeah, as soon as it comes to Scotland, it's pronounced. And the point is, English fans love to use the phrase Mickey Mouse League or Farmers League, and you think, at the end of the day, we're the ones that are fighting in Europe. Like, you know, obviously I'm talking top tier. We're the ones fighting in Europe, where especially fans that support, like, you have people that support like West Ham, and you know, like people, like teams like that, and they always try like slander us for being like, when we get kicked out, like knocked out of Europe, and you think, you're in Europe, like Celtic are in Europe, Rangers are in Europe, we get knocked out. West Ham never had the chance to be in Europe. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I just don't see the logic in it, and why you think like, why would you even, like, I don't know, it's just, no, do you know what I mean? No, it just gets on my nerves how you think like, how can you even like comprehend that when it's literally just pure and utter like, it's just all money talk. And at the end of the day, it will come to show, and I know a lot of English fans who have seen like Celtic, you know, and again, one thing I think helps me, and again, like I always keep on saying Celtic, 'cause I'm so used to saying Celtic, I never talk about other Scottish teams. But the point is, I've seen so many fans from different aspects and that saying that, you know, we're good. Like, look at when we play them in Europe, we have a better result rate than English teams, and that's for Celtic. I don't know about Rangers. I think Rangers do as well. Celtic beat English teams more than they beat them. Do you know what I'm saying? You think like, how can you say one set, like, so Man City, the few, and you can say, oh yeah, it was a draw. Man City were top flight that year. Man City, like, I had Man City fans who were friends who saying that we were going to get smashed, and we went out and beat them, and nothing was said about it. Yet Celtic go get pumped 5-0 by PSG. It's everywhere in the newspapers, and it just gets on my nerves, because the main Scottish league is talked down, and I just hate to see how the lower Scottish league is not even like mentioned. It's not even worthy to be talked down on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just like, you know what I mean? I just want to get to the bottom of why the Scottish bottom league ain't being promoted as much, why it ain't been that, and what, like, I think it'd bring a lot more great youth players to the system if they were in games like FIFA and everything, because a lot of people always see the players and they start being more familiar with them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of players from League 2 just because I play with League 2 teams, obviously, in my career mode on my other channel, and you think it's one of them ones where, like, I don't know, like, what do you think? Say what you were going to say earlier as well, because obviously you cut out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the same. I don't want to keep talking about FIFA, because, like, obviously there's more to football than just FIFA, but it's a good example, because a lot of people play it, so it is a good platform to, like, be, like, made public as a team. So I think, like, I was saying, like, say you're just some kid playing FIFA, say you're like a Raith Rovers fan or something. Raith Rovers obviously aren't in the game because the only Scottish league in the game is the Premiership, and they're obviously not in it. So this kid now can't play his own team that he supports in the game, but you can obviously, when you play an Ultimate Team, you can buy kits of whatever club you want and wear that kit. And he can't buy a Raith Rovers kit because it's not in the game, but say they were in the game, FIFA did include them in the game, and he bought that Raith Rovers kit and he played it. and then when he's playing online and he's playing in Foot Champs or whatever he's playing, and he might play against someone from another country or maybe someone from England, someone from America, Australia, Germany, anywhere, and then they see that Wraith Rovers kit, they might not recognise it, so they'll look up what it is, and then that's another person that now knows that Wraith Rovers exist, and then they might, I don't know, you don't know how many people are going to see it, how many games they play, and it's just getting the word about, and now all of a sudden, just from them being in the game, that team is now more public, and it's just more money in the bank for that team. They can grow, and obviously, like, it'll make their team better, and then maybe they might not even be in the championship anymore. It's a chance. It sounds stupid because it is just a game, but you don't realise the effect that it has for these teams. They literally have no money. These teams, they're playing on AstroTurf because they can't afford for their games to get called off because of weather. If they miss the game and they miss ticket sales and like the revenue they bring in from a game, their club could literally go under just from missing that one game.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look at.
People don't realise the grind.
Well, again, look at how Hamilton Accies fans and Hearts fans and Livingston fans that are like, you know, literally have to give money to their team to survive for like the next season due to the corona, and you think that is so sad. How you think that's a top flight football as well. These teams, the amount of teams that will end up dying because of all of this, is so upsetting. Because you know what I mean, like there'll be so many players have to be let go, or players that will be playing without any money. That will obviously, you know, and you think again, this is the last time I'm going to refer back to FIFA, hopefully. But Lawrence Shankland, for instance, if he was put in FIFA, he'd probably have like what 84 potential, I'd roughly say.
They'd have high potential, but
do you know
really
what I mean?
low,
a lot of players look on the websites and that on FIFA and always go, like, oh yeah, what players, you know. So look at Aaron Hickey for me, or Harry Cochrane.
Yeah.
A lot of English people know who them players are due to FIFA, and it is a lot of promoting for players, which means that teams end up looking in and thinking, like, oh yeah, you know, like apparently he's a good player, and even though like, because players generally do play FIFA, do you know what I mean? Like, and younger managers also do play FIFA and everything, and obviously look at, you know. And I think it's one of them ones. So Lawrence Shankland, I guarantee if he was put in FIFA, he'd be off to one of the English teams. Maybe not one of the top flight ones, but maybe like the Championship or, you know, something like that. Within the next like 5 years, in my opinion. Obviously, you know, I feel it'll take a while for them to get put in. But same with like how it's quite sad as well. Like I was saying, the whole point with because you know James Keating's as well. To think that Inverness Caledonian Thistle were playing top flight football a few years ago, and look at them now. Do you know what I mean? Like they're nowhere to be seen. They're falling apart, and due to money. Do you know what I mean? Like they never fell apart because of the team. They fell apart due to money. You know what I mean? There's nothing. You can't say anything else more than that. They literally, the only reason they fell apart was because they didn't have enough money. And every team needs money to withstand. And the point is, English teams always try to act and say, like, you know, oh, you know, this and that, and always try to put it up for debate. But at the end of the day, English fans don't care because they get what they want. They get money, manipulation to say that the Scottish Championship and the Scottish Main League is almost scum. I don't want to use the name scum, but at the end of the day, it's what we literally get turned out to be. But then the point is, as soon as one of them play in Europe and get beat, so look at, like, again, I hate referring back because again, all I know is Celtic. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But we played PSG, or no, Bayern Munich. We got beat. I think it was 5-1 or 4-1, and we got slandered in the papers for it. I went back to school. We got slandered at school. Well, I got slandered at school. Went out, like, you know, Rangers fans online slandered us about. Obviously, again, Rangers, you know. The next season, not even that same season, I'm pretty sure, Arsenal got beat I think it was 6-0. There's nothing in the newspaper about that. Like, I looked at all the newspaper, nothing in the newspaper about them getting beat 6-0 by Bayern Munich. Do you know why? Because it's money. At the end of the day, money talks, and, you know, bull honky walks. And it's one of them ones that, and it's one of them ones that it does get really on my nerves because I feel so I'm so passionate about football. And I love Scottish football especially because the fans are great, the rivalry is great, the patter's great, everything's great about it. And it is really, really upsetting But at the end of the day, that's what is that's what's done, and there's nothing else we can really do about it. But
Well, I've
you know
got
what I
a
mean?
point
No,
now
like
about the publicity of lower leagues. Yeah.
yeah. Do you know what I mean? No, like
If I asked you now, who would you say is the best left back in Europe right now? Who would you say that was?
well, I'd probably Andy Robertson, in my opinion.
Exactly right. So, what club did he start at? Do you know?
Yeah, he started at Celtic.
He started at Queen's Park. Well, his
Yeah.
senior career started at Queen's
Yeah.
Park.
Oh yeah. And then
he
he
went
was
to
on
Dundee United.
trial.
He went to
Yeah,
Dundee
yeah.
United. Do you know how much he went to Dundee United for?
I think it was.
Nothing.
Oh, was it nothing?
It's a free transfer, so he was valued at nothing.
And won it like
in the
1,000,
league.
like 800 to Liverpool.
And then he went to Hull, and do you know how much?
Hull.
He went to Hull. He went to Hull 2.85 million, which is quite a lot for a Scottish player, to be fair. But
Yeah.
when you look at players who've gone for a lot more than that, it's still nothing. To like 2 million, 3 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they valued him at that. And Hull is like, at the time, I think they might have even been in League One at the time. They might have been in the Championship. They might not.
I think they were in the Championship.
So they're rating him at Championship level. That's what they're rating him at. And then he's gone to Liverpool for 8 million. So you think, in this time, how he can't have improved that much of a player to have gone from being worth £0 to then being worth 3 million to then being worth 8 million in the space of like 3 years. Because obviously he's been playing the same way all that time. He's been as good as he was at the start. He might have been working a bit harder, and now he's a bit more public. But now, as soon as he's playing for a Premier League team, he's the best in the world. So can you imagine people being like, "Oh yeah, that boy who plays at left back for Queen's Park, he's the best in Europe"? Can you imagine people saying that?
Yeah. That's what.
And that's just the point about the publicity. And now, his first 2 years at Liverpool, he's played in a Champions League final.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It is one of them ones to look at. Obviously, the most expensive player in Premier League history is Paul Pogba.
Mm-hmm.
And how much was it they bought him for? They literally bought him for what? I think
like 80 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was something mental anyway. And you think that was the most they brought in, right? Now, I'm not, because Paul Pogba at Juventus was good. However, if you look at the stats, he played the exact same than he did. His stats are the exact same at Juventus than he was at Man United this season.
What, the first time or the second time?
I think both times. Like, I think the first time was just under, and this time I think it's like just under as well. But obviously the season ain't finished.
Because they had him, didn't they? And they got rid of him for nothing.
No. I thought you meant the first season or second season. Like, I thought, no, alright. But and his stats are basically the exact same. And you think, could you imagine if Scott Brown, so in my opinion, I think Scott Brown is one of the best captains, one of the best midfielders in Europe, in my honest opinion. I think his heart for the club, he loves the club. I think James Tavernier is an alright captain, but I just don't think he's old enough yet to know his role, and I don't think Rangers are advanced enough to know his role.
I think he's still quite young. I don't like
Do you
Scott
know
Brown,
what I mean?
But I can appreciate his play style. He stuck with it, and he's a leader. You can see that.
And look at how Joey Barton came up to Rangers.
Yeah.
Premier League player.
Mhm.
Every person I know, most people I know that support English teams, watch Joey Barton come up to Rangers. You're gonna get smashed. They have Joey Barton now. Scott Brown not only silenced him. We beat him 5-1 at Celtic Park. Joey Barton got absolutely rinsed every single time Scott Brown got the ball and Joey Barton tried to tackle him, or Joey Barton got the ball, Scott Brown got it off him. No matter what anyone says, Joey Barton got absolutely destroyed that game. Yet nothing was said about it. No one ever said, "Oh yeah, do you see that ex-English Premier League football player that was absolutely destroyed by Celtic?" No, they don't see that, because at the end of the day, their main excuse is, "Oh, he don't play for us anymore. He's old." That's their first excuse. Oh, he's old now. No, but it don't matter because he's old. And it is really upsetting, because it would have been so good if English fans looked at Scottish football the exact same way and said, "Do you know what? Joey Barton went there thinking that it's going to be easy. He got smashed off the ball. Fair play to Celtic." Or fair play to Scott Brown. But no, it's nothing like that. And the point is, English fans are going to be greedier in the future. Their money, their fans who, are getting more expensive. Look at Man United. My uncle Thomas. He used to get tickets for Man United all the time. When Man United, and then as soon as Man United went up to be in the top club in England, he weren't offered any tickets. Now Man United are starting to fall down again, and fans are not going to games. Because obviously, you know, tourists and everything, and, you know, fake fans are thinking, oh, I'm not going and watch it now, I'll go watch Liverpool now.
Yeah.
And now, my Uncle Thomas has now been offered tickets. He's getting offered tickets every game now. For Man United. Because obviously they're thinking, alright, main fans are gone, they're pushing fans away. And they've done it to us. I've had it done to me. Treble. I didn't get tickets for that game, and I would have loved to be at that game. I'm 16 years old. That would be history. I want to be able to grow up and say, oh, I was at the I was at the first treble, I was at the double treble, I was at the treble. Hopefully, in the future, I'm like, oh, I was at the quadruple treble, not the treble though. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know how bad that is for a fan who's a season book holder, who's young and an actual loyal fan, who would never put on a different top in the world, to go and get told, oh no, you're not going. Imagine my dad telling me that as well, saying, oh yeah, I couldn't get tickets. And obviously, I always look at it being like, oh, it's my dad's fault. But the point is, my dad's as angry as I am. And I know my dad would never give up Celtic tickets. My dad is, like, you know, he's a loyal fan like me. And they're pushing Celtic fans away, and they need to be careful. Same as how Rangers fans have got the main loyal fans at the minute. Because people are there watching Rangers become, you know, a top team again. And it's one of them ones that fans will always do it. There's always going to be glory hunters. You know, and in the next few years, obviously Celtic are still dominating Scottish football, you know, as in my opinion. However, in the next few years, there'll be Rangers fans that I'll know, or probably not, I don't really know any Rangers fans apart from you. But there'll be Rangers fans that my dad knows 100%, that have already said to him, oh, I'm not a big fan of football. I'm not a really big football fan anymore. And that's the excuse they use, and you think that's glory hunting, and I don't think it should be distributed. And I think it's so disgusting that a player like so literally like a player that can go from the like obviously Robertson went from being a nobody, right? You can say what you want, he was no one. I never knew who he was, like not even when he was in the youth academy at Celtic. And he got obviously, you know, and then literally the first season, like you said, first season at Liverpool, he's like he's a hero. That's what he's
starting in the Champions League final. Do
you know what I mean? He's starting in the Champions League Cup final, and the point is, 100%. You could put anyone. I could go get let's think of a player. Let's go with Stefan Johansson. For instance, Stefan Johansson could go to the Scottish League, which he did play in the Scottish League, and get like nothing for it. I guarantee if you went and gave Stefan Johansson, put him in Liverpool, he would be a top flight, arguably top flight player. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be, you know what I mean? Like, if he's like played every game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I reckon obviously they would play him, say in friendlies, whatever. He'd be on the bench, and he would even be worth like that price tag just for him being on the bench will go up probably to like 20 mil. And it's so sad. Same with Tierney. Tierney went for 25 mil, the most expensive Scotland player ever. Like in Scottish League, I'm on about, like the most expensive player from the Scottish League to go out of the league, and he's 100% going to go up in price. And but the point, even if he gets worse, he could get 10 times worse at Arsenal, and he will still be more than what he was at Celtic. And you think it's, and again, this is top tier Scottish football. The lower league Scottish football gets absolutely disgusting abuse basically given at them, like invisible abuse basically. It's literally just, they work their lives, they, like, you think players from the lower league Scotland, even in the main tier at like Hamilton Accies and that, they go work. Do you know what I mean? Like, they probably go train on a Wednesday like I do to play for like my Sunday league team, then probably they probably go to work the next morning after a game and sit there. Do you know what I mean? They don't have enough money, but you think English fans have enough money to live the next like 10 lifetimes. Do you know what I mean? And I just think at the end of the day, no matter what anyone says, no, again, also, like we've said, make sure you go give us any arguments you want on our Twitter. Link will be in the description. Just so we know, we want to hear your side of the story as well. But I just think it's disgusting the way Scottish football is treated, and the Scottish Championship is treated. And even though I don't really treat it with any respect as well. And I'm 100% after.
Well, I think look at John McGinn.
Yeah.
You know John Exactly. And then we both watched him play when he was playing at Hibs. Obviously, we're both watching that league. We've both seen him play at Hibs.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you remember Josh Windass, who used to play for Rangers?
Yeah.
Striker. He put something on his Instagram the other day. He was doing like a Q&A, and someone said to him, "What's the toughest opponent you ever faced?" And he said, "John McGinn. When he played for Hibs, he was the best player I ever played against. He's like an animal. You can never get him off the ball, and as soon as he loses it, he's always fighting back to get it." And Villa bought him for under £2 million when he was in the Scottish League, because that's how disrespected the Scottish League is. He wasn't even worth £2 million. He's been at Villa for a year, played the exact same that he was in the Scottish League, exact same way, that exact same intensity, exact same physicality and all that, and the same ability, except now he's on a bigger platform, and now Man United are looking at buying him, and they're willing to pay £50 million for it.
Yeah.
Just how do you work that out? How do you go from being less than £2 million to £50 million now?
Being the exact same player. Yeah, being the exact same player. They don't just, when money goes up, they don't just get better out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
like the same player he was.
And again, like, hopefully when we have other people on, like I was saying about the special guests, hopefully they'll answer these kind of questions as well. Obviously, hopefully we have some Twitter questions, because last time we never really plugged the Twitter because it wasn't even a thing when the first video went up. So hopefully we do get at least 5 things on Twitter asking us about what we think, or like, certain like points or whatever, so we can answer that. But
and if you have ideas for points you want us to talk about as well, you can leave them in the comments.
Yeah, and tell us what you want to talk about as well. And it's just one of them. It is sad. Hopefully it changes. I can't see it ever changing, which is one of the worst things. But at the end of the day, it's there's nothing we could do about it, because at the end of the day, money is the main priority in football. It always has been. Well, actually, no, it never used to be. But it always will be now. And it's sad thinking that there are leagues that will literally go down in, literally leagues that will just crash because the Premier League are the ones taking the money, because they're the ones where, they've got the most promotion, they've got the most sponsorships, they've got the most, money buyers, they got all of this, all of that. And they always love to say, and English fans love to dismiss the fact that it's to do with money.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, where like literally when you just kind of talk to them, they think that they're like the best league in the world, and that's why they have so much money. And you think you weren't the best league in the world. Literally, like you never were the best league in the world, and it's literally money came into it. Now you're the best league in the world.
You've done for like 10, 20 years. People like Blackburn are winning the league, and you've got the league doesn't look anything like it does now. It's got like Sheffield United and stuff. Obviously they're in it now, but you've got like Charlton Athletic and near the top of the table in the Premier League and stuff like that. And it's like, and you try to tell money's not a thing. You throw money at any team, and they'll do well. Just the way it works.
Yeah, because I guaranteed Charlton Athletic would be in the top tier football now, as well.
If
they had as much money as Liverpool did. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's disgusting, because you think there's so many teams, like, and I think the only recent one that has actually had money and gone down was Sunderland.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
Do you know what I mean? Sunderland were the only one, so I'm gonna have to basically say that's not true in my honest opinion, even though I just agreed to that. But now thinking of it, Sunderland have been down and they had money. So you think, can it just be up to players? Obviously it can be, but the point is, I think money's just so important to these people now, and it's sad because Andrew Robertson as well has also said in an interview that he would actually like to retire at Celtic. I know he said that. He said he wanted to pull on the hoops one more time. I ain't got the the tweet on me. Wait, was it a tweet or I don't know if it was an interview or a tweet. I think it was a tweet. And he basically said, and you think it is nice because you think
it's a backhanded compliment, isn't it? He says, I'd like to go and live my life and play my good football and give all my best years somewhere else. And then once I'm done and I'm finished and I'm like an old racehorse ready for shooting at the end, I'll come back to this at the end for a little bit. Yeah,
that's a really good point, to be fair. I never thought about that. Same with like how I don't like Tierney. We'll bring this up in another video as well. That's a good point. I ain't even got that one. But is Tierney a loyal player? No. I don't care what anyone says. He's not a loyal player. Even though I reckon he will come back to Celtic near the end of his career, because he said that he left on good terms. He ain't left on good terms with me. In the future, next time I see him, next time Tierney is at Celtic Park, or playing against Celtic or playing with Celtic, I don't care. I will be booing him as much as I can. I don't care what anyone else says. He's not a loyal Celtic fan, and I hope the Green Brigade stands up to him as well. He's not a Celtic fan. He's there for money. Because if you're like, if you're a diehard Celtic fan or a diehard football fan, would you leave your club for a certain amount of money when you're still getting enough money to live? Do you know what I mean?
That's everyone's dream, isn't it? To play for the club they support on a comfortable wage where you can live really comfortably.
Well, same with how my dream.
You can buy anything you want.
I know now that my dream will. I'll never get into football, right? I know that dream of my life is done, right? I'll never be able to get into football and play professionally. However, now during this podcast, there is a possibility we could become pundits, right? And that would be, I'm not even joking, that would probably be my dream at this point. I'd love to be a pundit. I think that'd be so, so good. And it is so, so annoying because, it's just, you know, if I was to go to the Scottish League, you're stuck in the Scottish League. You're not getting out of it.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? Unless you're a young player, you're not getting out of the Scottish League. No matter what you're doing, you're not getting out. And it's literally as if you're trapped there. But the point is, if I was a pundit for Celtic, or, you know, commentating Celtic games or being a pundit at Celtic games, I would love that. I wouldn't care if someone said, oh yeah, do you want to come work for Sky Sports and do all the English games? I'd be like, nah. And if they're like, oh, nah, we'll pay you twice or triple the amount you're getting at Celtic commentating or being a pundit there, I'd be like, nah. And I don't care. That's being a loyal fan because I love the club. I love the fans. It's my boyhood club. I've grew up with the club. And it's something that I would love to be a part of. Do you know what I mean? Just to be able to be my name in a book somewhere next to the name, next to the word Celtic would literally be my life complete. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of them ones that, you know, I don't know. Again, tell us what you think down below. But I think we're going to have to close the end of the podcast, by the way. Because, you know, it's going to go over the amount of time. So, before we do end it, Logan, should the championship be given more recognition?
100%.
Yeah, and again, 100%. If you're watching this and you're rich, get it done, right? Obviously, again, if I ever came into money, like a lot of money, so say if I had a massive business, I'd 100% pump some money into the championship and the main Scottish tier.
The lottery win.
Yeah, no, not the lottery win. I'll be buying, I'll be getting the pundit sorted, the pundit job there. That's what I'll be doing.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, also make sure to go follow us on Twitter. Link is in the description down below. Also, we'll have the mystery guest. So, you know, if he watches this, then we'll just say we are really happy to have you on. Obviously, we'll say that in the video, but hopefully, you know, we're really happy that you've agreed to come onto the show, which is obviously what we, you know, it is one of them things that me and Logan can't actually believe at the minute. I don't know about you, Logan, but it's pretty mental thinking that, like, a person that I actually watch, Logan don't, but a person I actually watch and have actually, you know, I've subscribed, I've been watching for probably about a year now. A year or two, I'll probably say. And it's just mental thinking that literally, like, he'll be on the podcast talking.
You shout them out on your other one, don't you?
Yeah, and on my other channel, Greenleaf, I've shouted him out many times on there before, and I think it's just mental thinking at how close, like, I think that's the other way. If this was to do with English football, we would not get anyone on it. Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
You can't get anyone that's actually big with English football. Maybe Thogden would probably be your best bet.
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? And I'd actually think Thogden in the future. No, I like Thogden. You know. But yeah. But anyway, carrying on. Anyway, guys. Like always, well, not like always, but hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we've entertained you during this lockdown, and this is episode 2 done. So Logan, goodbye.
And hit the subscribe button, by the way, because we're getting a lot of views. And
Again,
not proportionate to the amount of subscribers.
Thank you for thank you for all the, you know, the views. We have 67 views on our video currently. With 9 likes and 16 subscribers. So if you're one of them 67 and you're watching, and I forget as well, make sure you just subscribe. Like, we're English kids, we're trying to make it into Scottish football. No one's ever done it before, and we think we can be the first ones. So please subscribe and, you know, like the video, and we'll be all sorted. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for listening. We'll be back on Monday with our special guest. Hopefully, we might not be 100%, but I think we are. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll catch you in a bit.